Hey there. So as I've said many times, IDW is my favorite type of trash fire. I imagine them with colorations of yellow and gold because it burns brightly. In fact, it showcases where the comic book industry is at this time. It is emblematic of a company without intellectual property to fall back on, showcasing what comic books truly entail in these days. And what comic books truly entail these days are a money loss. Now, I've been waiting for the newest yearly reports. You know, we will get them sometime, but I imagine if last year was any indication, we'll probably get a late filing. And while I'm waiting for that news, I've been looking for anything to tell me where they're at. Now, we've had a few things that showcase directionality. We've had some of their newer people talk about where they're going to go in the future. We've seen them actually go out and make deals with Marvel. And while they were making deals, it made me wonder exactly what kind of quality would we be looking at? Exactly what kind of detail would we get? Where would that company go? Would we see a new standard, or would we see something that was probably run-of-the-mill or lower? Would we see something that falls apart? And yeah, we truly see something that does indeed fall apart. Now, the video piece that I'm going to show you today is from Yellow Flash 2. If you don't know who Yellow Flash is, well, Yellow Flash is somebody you should definitely watch because he talks about a lot of things that are wrong culturally. He has also spotlighted comic books from the profession to the professional. These days, he's also somebody that will give you a fair comic book review. That's one thing that the other side of this comic book conversation doesn't get. Fair reviews. Somebody can look at something and they can say yes or no, this isn't good. And, well, you know, a lot of people will agree with them in that. Now, today I saw something with that IDW comic that I was discussing there that didn't go into the caliber of the production as far as artwork or storytelling and on. No, it went into the quality of the comic book. So I'll let you check this out. And really, I've never seen anything like this, not with him reviewing or myself reviewing. So I think this truly says something.
I was reading it. I don't think what kids like and are interested in, oh, look at this. I'm just holding the comic and that pops right out. Wow. I've never had that happen before. That's kind of interesting. So, yeah, I had to fix it so it's not coming out while I'm reviewing the book. I've reviewed probably over 200 comics at this point, and I've never had it fall apart in my hands. What are you doing, IDW?
What are you doing, IDW? That is actually a very, very good question. I mean, if we look at where they stand right now, if we were to look at the last reports that we've seen from the company, well, they definitely weren't good. I mean, these were the last iterations that we saw. When we skipped down through it, the company right now, if we compare them to 2017, they were in the hole, as in minus $1.54 million. This year, they said, well, screw it. Hold my beer here, and they're at negative $7.174 million. Yes, that is minus, as in they're not making money, they're losing money. Now, this has gotten their CEO/co-founder fired in Ted Adams. He's out the door. Their editor-in-chief, Chris Rael, he's out the door. The president, he's out the door. And, you know, on. We have so many people that have been fired this year. They've pretty much been looking for a bailout plan, too. And if you listen to all the press conferences don't talk about comics. They don't talk about books and on. What they talk about is intellectual property. Because intellectual property, that's where it's at. This other stuff, yeah, it's tearing industry down. I mean, if you look through all of the reports with IDW, you can see certain things that signify where they are. Like, for example, example, this year, they were worth at the end of last year $49.473 million. Right now, they're at $44.578 million. They have had a loss, again against equity, of $7,174,000. That means that the company here, they have devaluated. They have become lesser. It's kind of like saying that you have a car that's worth $10,000, but you have bank loans against that for $5,000. So really, the thing is only worth $5,000. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at a company that is in turmoil. I mean, when you look at them right now, you have a company again worth $49 million that has taken out loans to the tune of $21,444,000. That's right. And they took a lot of this out since the last quarter. The last quarter, they were looking at a little over $8 million in debt. Now, if they're continuing their current course, yeah. I mean, and think about this. In terms of just paying off yearly interest, when this comes up, you will be talking about quite a few comic books. I mean, we were figuring it out, and it is a staggering sum. They better hope that all of that other stuff comes rolling in, because when you get down to it, they're in dire disarray. Now, I had somebody the other day, too, say you can't really tell what's causing that umbrella. You don't know exactly what kind of business moves are doing it. You can't itemize and break down and hope to truly say what is or isn't comic books. I answer that by saying, yeah, I can, because the company breaks it down for you. They tell you about board games, and they tell you about print. They tell you about where comics are. It's right here. They are a loss. They tell you how much it goes down per quarter. And when you look at it, and when you look at this company and where they sit, what they're telling you is that year after year, you're not only seeing a decline in revenue or what they earn, but you're also seeing loss because of operations. This cannot continue. When I talk about that too, and I said that that was something that combines not only print, but board games as well, you can look and see that board games actually makes money. But the print portion, yeah, it's declining everywhere. Even that vaunted digital that they talk about, that's decreasing too. They are not making money there. Now, why should someone care about that? I mean, if you're a pro, why should you care? Well, when you start looking at certain numbers, like the direct cost of revenues, you notice this decreases. That is part of printing costs, but it's also the costs of artists and writers. When you combine that, and you also combine in things like decreasing salaries and on that are represented in this, yeah, that's talking about hitting people right in the pocket. When you're talking about benefits and salary decreases, when they're bringing on new people as president and on, they're going out and shopping for new talent, that tells you that there were probably substantial decreases to the people within the workforce. But of course, people can pretend that's not the case. This is what you talk about within entertainment. Now, they are not making what they did before within entertainment. They had to rely on comics. And well, when you look at these decreases where they lose $400,000 in a quarter versus last year where they made $400,000, you can see where the true losses come from. They come from this. In comics, they come from another portion of the company, and they come from taxes. But comics are a huge loss. And this company, without intellectual property, that's what it's showing here. They don't have movies out. They don't have TV shows out that are buffering the costs. This is what it looks like. This is exactly what it looks like to be downhill from Marvel, to be downhill from DC. As they say within this, this is caused by continued industry cyclical downward pressure driven by market leaders as well as. So when they talk about it, Marvel and DC, they've been causing it. And IDW, they don't know how to get out of their own way. They don't know how to stop, sit down and say, what were we doing before that helped us out so much, and how do we get back to it? Like you saw today, they had comic books that just came out. Those suckers are falling apart. They've gone out and they're farming work from other places. They're throwing it out there. But what are they throwing out? Now, I'm telling you, when we get the year-end stuff, it's going going to be bad. Even if they made some money, it's still going to be bad. This is something that kills businesses. And again, that's where comics books are right now. That's where this industry is, and it's not getting better. You hear people out there talking like Joe Quesada saying, oh, this industry, it's doing better. We're making a little bit more money compared to last year. Yeah, how exactly are you doing that? You raise the prices on books. You hit the all-time high in August for cost of comic books. You have industry leaders right now that are an $8 comic, a $10 comic, and two $6 comics. And still with that, you have a 6% decline in units, but a 2% rise in price. That means you're passing the buck on to consumers. And while the smaller businesses out there, they eat it for that. You're going to see IDW continue to eat it too, unless they figure out a way back to the top that is not dependent on these other companies. And that way, well, it's not going to be in comics looking at what we see. But anyhow, let me see what you think about this. Give me your comments here. I thought that this was really telling. I thought we would do a fresh review of IDW and say, wow, no matter what changes, they still stay the same. They also stay the same within talent too. If you look at a lot of the people out there that speak for the company, if you look at people like Ian Flynn, they still go out and they still divide their consumer. They still say things out there that truly give the what for what they think. And the what for, it drives people away. But like I said, tell me what you think about this. Also, if you want to support the channel, make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you like, and make sure to check out links within the description. I try to put out a little bit of extra material on Patreon. If you want to do direct support, there's a link for that. But always leave comments. Come back day to day. I try to put out something new every day. And again, comments. Tell me what you think about this stuff. Thank you.